What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders Awakened. Today we're going to take a look at a Wave 24 start on the Summit. Now, obviously, if you're grinding the Summit, there's a good chance that you're going for a dragon, so do remember that this build will work as a Wave 13 start if you're just wanting to do a pet run as well. Now, I'm going to be bringing along a Squire for the blockades, a Huntress with traps, an Apprentice for some DST spam, and then an Aura Monk. Now, these are the stats I'm going with. These are not the stats that are required, and you will without a doubt be able to complete this much lower. As a general rule, I usually tell people is if you have successfully completed one Glitterhelm Survival all the way through to Wave 25, then you are probably geared enough to do a Wave 24 start on any map in the game. So without further ado, let's hop on in and make it happen. And here we go into the Summit on Nightmare Hardcore Wave 24 start. Now, as I mentioned, if you're doing this map, there's probably a pretty good chance it's for dragons. This build will work for dragons as well. However, let's get it going here. Down below here, we are going to set it up to completely ignore. So we're going to have 2 spike blockades. I'm going to go with a gas trap as far this way as I can possibly get it. And then an explosive trap as far this way down the stairs as I can possibly get it. Ideally, you have those relatively centered in the lane. And then we're going to throw down an Inferno just smack in the middle of it all. Now down here, we know it's going to take a lot of Ogre abuse. So if we go with an Ensnare Aura and a Strength Drain Aura, that's going to make it so we just don't have to worry about these Ogres down below. They're just going to get handled. Now, as a lot of you already know, the Squire's blockades that are not the Spike blockade do so well against Wyverns. So we're going to go with a Bouncer blockade here. That is going to completely cover that Wyvern lane 100%. We're going to go with a Bouncer blockade right here. It is going to completely cover that Wyvern lane there. We're going one right here, and then we're going to rinse and repeat. Get the same thing going up over here. Now, as far as the northern lanes here go, this lane and then the center lane are the only 2 lanes that are going to get ogres. So these are lanes that we want to be more concerned about. I'm going to go with an explosive trap as far forward as I can get it to the spawn. It doesn't seem like very far. There we go, right about there. We're going to go with an Inferno right behind it, and then a gas trap inside. You want the gas trap's effective range, which is the outer circle, inside of the trigger range of the explosive trap. So you want the outer circle to be not past this explosive trap trigger range, and that's going to ensure that enemies aren't getting stunned up and not taking damage. We're going to throw down a spike blockade just back here in the back, and just to slow things down even a little bit more, we're going to give this lane an Ensnare Aura. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. Now this lane, of course, does not have ogres. However, by just setting it up the exact same way, it's going to just handle the lane. So we're going to do the exact same thing over on this side of the map. Now, what's the difference, you say? Well, although we're doing the exact same build, this particular lane over here, we know it could potentially get an ogre. So I'm just going to throw a couple of upgrades into that wall right there. Now coming down to the middle lane, we're going to go with the exact same setup. We've got a gas trap that's back at the wall. We're going to throw an explosive trap up forward and an Inferno trap just right in the middle. I do expect this lane to get some heavy pressure, so we're going to give it an Ensnare Aura and a Strength Drain Aura to make sure that anything that does get uppity on my walls is getting handled. Now taking a look, we got 52 DU left. So what do we want to do with 52 DU? Well, we should have more than that because I put a Strength Drain over here that is not needed. Let me make sure I didn't do any other derps. Nope, that looks good. Alright, we got 57 DU now, and that's going to allow us to throw down some of those lovely DSTs. Now, I use this little circle here as kind of a guide for placement. I'm going to throw one just pointing straight due south. These side DSTs, remember, the bouncer blockade is going to cover our wyvern lane, so you don't want this DST shooting into the wyvern lane. So if I place it like that, the DST shots are going to be going to wyverns as well as the copter ogres up there, and I don't want them getting distracted, so I'm going to make sure I place it so that it is not covering the wyvern lane at all. So it's just to the outside of where that bouncer blockade is sitting. We're going to do the exact same thing on both sides here. So we want to make sure that it's just not into the wyvern lane. Now, you will see a few shots go up there at the wyverns for the ones that make it in closer. However, it's just best to set it up where your DSTs don't get distracted at all, and then it's GG's. Now, we've got 17 left. Well, what do we want to do? Well, we're going to throw one DST to the north. Now, we already know that no ogres are coming over there. All the ogres are going to go to that wall and that wall, so we want to make sure it is tweaked slightly that direction to cover fully that wall over there. So the right-hand side of this DST needs to be lined up with the back side of the wall there, and then it's going to be GG's. We've got 9 left. Well, what do we want to do with 9? Well, we know we're going to have some spiders up here. Let's give ourselves a little spider protection. So we're going to throw down a darkness trap just right in the middle of all that hotness. In fact, let's throw it a little bit closer up to this DST at the front. That should help out with the spiders up here. We know there's going to be a lot of buildup of spiders down here as well. We don't want that one DST having to work overtime. So just to make sure that's covered, we're going to go ahead and just drop 2 explosive traps right down here, not lined up or pretty in any way whatsoever. Now, I am going to play this map actively on a boost monk, and there's one main thing you want to do with your boost monk. Get yourself a speedy gemstone. It's just good stuff. Your main priority on the speedy gemstone needs to be that it's hitting 4 targets. So you want your gemstone to hit 4 targets. And which 4 targets do we want? Well, the copter ogres from the sides are going to be our biggest problems here. So ideally, we want, out of the 5 DSTs that are facing south, we want 4 of those 5 DSTs to get the buff. So I'm just going to make sure that the buff is going to the correct place. And then in addition to that, we want to go ahead and just throw our leftover mana into those DSTs that are the most important, which would be those 4 covering the copters. Now, just because that DST is all lonely on that side, I'm going to throw the rest of the mana into it, and we'll throw just a couple of upgrades on this one too, just because why not. And now we're set. It's GG. So as the map is running, there's really just a few things we need to look out for. First off, we are going to have spiders that are just kind of derping around because they hit this darkness trap and they don't know what to do. So we have nothing there to kill them, so make sure you're shooting at the spiders. If you see any Jinn floating around on the map anywhere that seem like they've been there a little bit longer than they should, then definitely, without a doubt, take some pot shots at the Jinn as well. You see like that one's cruising around. He was out a really long time. We've got one over here that's being hit by that gas trap, and he's sitting there for a while, so let's just go ahead and spray some shots into it. And I usually don't prioritize keeping my buff up that often, but if you were playing legit and actually paying attention, you would keep your tower boost up 100% of the time to make sure that those copter ogres are going down. Now, as you see, we got a copter ogre that made it in. Not to worry, copter ogres don't damage the cores. As long as they don't come to you at your DST, it's just not a big deal. Let them run around and do their thing. The worst thing you could do is sweat it and run over to it. So the copter ogre will die unless it's coming to you, and this stack of DSTs, it's just literally nothing at all to worry about. And we see the wyverns are definitely getting handled up there by those bouncer blockades. Not one single wyvern has flown over the top of those bouncers, just making them just good stuff. Now, I said down below you don't have to worry about the ogres, but just because we'll watch that ogre die, and we just don't even have to worry about it, even without a tower boost up. So that lower lane is just set up automated fully. No need to pay attention to it whatsoever. You've got all the good stuff down there that you're looking for, and now it's just a matter of kind of waiting it out. By all means, help out. If you help out, you'll make the map go a little quicker. That is for sure. Yeah, we see most of those spiders down below are getting burned up, which is a good thing. Now, we do have an ogre at that middle lane there, but we're going to watch and see that ogre and the combination of the Ensnare aura and the Strength Drain aura is just too much for it. It's just not going to be able to burn through that wall before it dies. If we get to the point where there's no mobs left, then I'll go help out and kill it, but it's just not going to die. The wall is gonna stay strong. You see, even though the ogre is burning super slow, it is still burning faster than that wall is. So nothing to worry about there. We got a couple of little ogre snot balls heading our way. Plus we got some spider goo heading our way. Nothing to really sweat too much. So just let it all burn. Once again, you see that ogre still just wailing away to no avail. My wall is still doing pretty good, and the ogre is what, at about 75% now, and my wall's at like 80 or 85%, so doing really good there as well. You see I've got an ogre snotball coming at me. You can pretty easily avoid those by just jumping right when they get to you. If they don't hit you, they're not going to hit your DSTs, because remember, that ogre is aiming at you, not at your DSTs. So it's aimed high, and as long as you jump over it and don't do that, then the ogre snotballs are not going to hit your DSTs at all. Now, if the snotball explodes on you, then of course it's going to do area damage, and it's going to hit your DSTs. So we got 3 mobs left. We'll check it out and see where these 3 are, but we see what we need to do to get through the final wave. And we're going to have to throw a couple of upgrades out there, but there will be plenty of mana laying around. I just want to get these DSTs repaired up and good to go. And let's see what mobs are stuck. We got spiders up top, looks like. So we got some spiders that are aggroed to that spike blockade, yet can't quite make it to it. So, you know, there's nothing to worry about there as far as the spike blockade, but there is just the annoyance factor of having to go up there and kill the spiders. Now, if the spiders did make it around and actually go to the bouncer over here, then your DST that's lined up with just this edge is going to take a shot at it. Alright, so let's take a look. Basically, anything that would need to be repaired, we're just going to upgrade instead. So let's upgrade that explosive. Let's just upgrade all this stuff down here, just because we'll even hit the walls, even though they took just really little damage. The bouncers up there, you just can ignore them. They're just not going to be a problem all the way through. These rip out some charges, so we'll go ahead and throw some upgrades in there. And then, same thing, just continuing around the map. I double up that wall there just because I've got so much mana left over. There's lots of room for that. Taking a look into the middle lane, same thing here. We'll just throw an upgrade on everything, just for good measure. And then there's actually 2,800 left, so we got a ton of leftovers. And what do we want to do with the leftovers? Well, I mean, we might as well dump it into the DSTs, since the DST spam is really what's getting it done. Let's go ahead and get that one upgraded all the way, and that leaves us enough for one more upgrade on that guy right there. Now, once again, you want to make sure that your gemstone is targeting the towers you want. So we want it buffing 4 of the 5 on this side. It is indeed. So let's just get it. So since this is wave 25, I will, pay close attention to the copter ogres that are coming in. They're the only thing that can really cause you too much of a problem. If you see any gen floating around here, once again, just help them out. Help out your DSTs. They will thank you for it later. As, they're going to prioritize the gens, so they will be taking shots at them. but Jin can do nasty things to you in a short amount of time if you're not prepared for it. So just going to sit here and kind of chillax it out and keep our tower boost up this time and just fire into the copters. Now we should be just about done with copter ogres already. See, there's, yeah, one more wave of them. Now the copter ogres that are coming in from the direct south, you just don't really need to worry about those. There's so many DSTs pointing that way, and once again the copter ogres take priority with the DSTs as well, so they're just going to get wrecked. So don't sweat any copter ogres coming from that side of the map. If you do feel like you're having some trouble with the copter ogres, the easiest thing to do is going to be add a little crowd control, either an ensnare or a gas trap over on the sides where it's where the copter ogres come in, not where the regular wyverns are at. So adding an ensnare up there will slow those copters enough to allow your DSTs just to get caught up and, you know, continue to take care of business over there. But things going well. That wall seems to be taking a little bit of damage. I think that was Dark Elf Warriors. They are down now. And everything else is going really, really well. I know back when I first started doing this map, one of the real troubles for me was the wyverns. I would lose quite frequently there's just so many wyverns coming in these late waves that the wyverns would give me problems, but they're just so easy to deal with just anything, really. I mean, you can use traps to deal with them, you can use the bouncers like we're using here for very, very low DU cost, and it makes those wyverns just kind of a non-issue, but you want to make sure that you've got a proper build there. Now, as you see, we got another ogre coming into the middle, so I want to keep an eye out for those ogre snotballs and making sure I'm jumping over them. Looks like one's coming now. No? Oh yeah, here it comes. It's just coming in slow. So I want to make sure I'm jumping over those, that way they just continue past and blow up behind me. We'll give a little bit of assist here. This is my Massacre Monk, so definitely not set up for ogre burning without a doubt. But any little bit helps. I'm not going to bother boosting myself though. I guess I could, why not? We'll get a little hero boost action, and we'll get this ogre burned out a little quicker. Or actually, he's one of the last mobs, so let's just go get him. And Mr. Ogre is now completely wrecked, and we got 3 left, let me guess. Spiders? Yep, we got the spiders up top again. It's kind of a weird thing with the bouncers up there. They will aggro to them. Now, depending on where your DST is placed, if you have your DSTs turned around further, they will handle the spiders there, but I like to make sure that the DSTs are prioritizing those copter ogres where we just don't have to worry about them. And we can just manually kill off these spiders. That electric spider, there we go. Let's lure them over this way into DST area, and it is GG's. So this map, of course, is not the best map for grinding, but you can still get a good giraffe. But it's not going to give me a good one today. But there we are, a Wave 24 or a valid pet start build if you wanted to start on Wave 13 for that dragon pet. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button and please subscribe to the channel. I will be back soon with more Dungeon Defenders. You can count on that. So thanks again, and I will see ya next time around. Take it easy.